Hey, everybody, this is your
Just
boy
try to find it.
Keepster. So, rather interesting comment has been on one of my videos I've done with Kasumi, which is titled, well, it's not even the comment itself divulge into something else, but it's in regards to the Persona 5 Royal streaming guidelines rant. We did two rants on this. You've seen the original video and the upgraded one. You know my position on that. We're not going to get into that today, surprisingly enough. Today's topic is more of a response to a comment from a Kosaka Honka. I guess it's a character from Love Life. I'm not too familiar with that series, but I wanted to say this out on the floodgate that we're not calling you out. I am not meaning to demean you, but this is more or less sort of just clarifying our stance as to why we sort of disagree with your opinion. And I wanted to say this. If for some reason you can't afford Persona 5 Royal, you have to play the vanilla version. No one's going to hold that against you. Money is hard to come by, systems are expensive. No one can afford a PlayStation 4, let alone a 5. So there's many financial factors. I don't want to get into that, but we are basically going to say let's just say like there are some benefits to why Royal is better than vanilla, and there are some things that maybe I guess this person's proclaiming that vanilla is probably the preferred way to play Persona 5. We're gonna get into that right now. Um, so they're basically kind of we were kind of just commenting. I was just telling them to check the upgraded version of the video that I made. And it gets to like right here where they were basically saying that Persona 5 Royal is not good, or they feel like it was probably quote unquote not the original Persona 5. I mean, that's kind of not correct, really. But and they're getting into like, and I'm quoting, the reason why they're not playing Persona 5 is because they already have the original game and Persona 5 Royal is like in your face. I didn't understand what they meant in your face, and I was like, how do you mean in your face? Does that mean because Kasumi's inclusion is Maruki adding a bit much? Like, I'm trying to get an answer from them. And they're like, the opening spoils the character by showing their personas. Okay, I'm not sure if this person's really watched the opening of Royal, but Kasumi, you being the star of the game, co-star perhaps, has the opening, like this person said, reveal your persona and then anything we knew about you before we actually get to know about you by playing the game? Like, do you think you can clarify on that? Because that's what this person is
I
saying.
I don't think the opening spoils anything at all. All that what Kasumi does in the opening is dancing in the rain with an umbrella.
It's
So I
it's
have no idea on how that would could for a spoiler.
yeah, like, and if they're meaning like if they mean to say that well the opening is showcasing all the characters at once, I mean I can see why, but then the original Persona 5 opening also showcases the characters at once too, doesn't it? Like, doesn't that also include Akechi, or does it not? I don't remember now. It probably doesn't,
I don't remember
okay,
answering that.
but the whole point is the original Persona 5 also showcases all the party members, most of the party members anyway, with probably the exception of Akechi. But it's like if you play Persona 5, the original, odds are you know, even if you're like don't really pay that much attention to Persona 5 in general, you at least know who Futaba is. You at least probably know who Anne is or Haru, or you've at least heard of these characters' names and what they look like, even if you don't really know who they are actually. So it's like saying that the opening spoils things is kind of wrong. Like it doesn't spoil anything. If anything, it showcases like what sort of characters you might be expecting, I guess, if you want to draw that conclusion. But outright spoiling the game, I don't think so. I kind of
No,
disagree with that. And then let's see. And I was basically saying, well, they kind of
it
have
honestly
to.
doesn't spoil
Well,
the game.
yeah, I was just saying here, well, they kind of have to show Kasumi in there because it's like she's sort of the main character to the royal arc, the royal version. Sorry, the third semester. One of the key factors of the third semester in Royal. That's not a spoiler. That's a fact. It's like you don't even need to know that much about Kasumi to know that fact because she's heavily advertised in the game, and that's the whole point. And that's what I was trying to get at. It's not meant to demean you. It's just that's fact that she is showing in the opening because that's the case. And if she means to say that, well, I don't really like Kasumi, it was like, okay, then that's subjective. That's your opinion. And then this person was saying, I cannot recommend Persona 5 Royal for new players. And I was saying, like, I see what you're saying, but to be honest, you haven't provided a reason why you wouldn't care. Well, you wouldn't. Can you elaborate exactly on why you would recommend the original version in favor of Royal? Like, I was asking a legitimate question. And then they're saying because the original game is $20 cheaper, I assume that they meant. And then I was saying, like, if this is about saving money, that's kind of a moot point because at one point vanilla was around $60, and that's a fact. It was a new game around 2017, 2016, I guess in Japan. Like it was a new game, and new games are usually $60. You can't really
It was around 20 on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess it was around 20 PlayStation, but the point is, typically new games are like $60. You can't dispute that. Even Berseria, Tales of Berseria, when I got that around that year, it was at least $60 when I got it. Brand sticking new RPG. And then I was saying here, and this is fact, Royal is discounted for the PS4 version, which is currently true, right? It's because it's discounted for the PS4 version
It's $40 on the
in the PS4. Yeah,
like PS4, and it's
like
60 for everything else.
yeah. If we're not counting the current ports, that's just what I said. So this is not wrong for the most part. So I understand where this person is coming from. It's about saving money. It's like, but saying all this reason as to why Persona 5, the original, is better than Royal, that's not. I'm sorry, you're going to have to come up with a better argument than that. Like, that's not to call you out. I'm not going to make fun of you if you like the original over Royal. It's just to say that these reasons are the reason why the original is better than Royal is just kind of not making sense to me. They didn't really go into why. That's my main problem with the I guess the argument here.
I really want to tell people if you want to argue your point across, make sure you have a reason. Think of every single question plus answer because I'm getting tired of people recommending games and then I ask a whole bunch of questions and they have no idea on how to respond to them.
Yeah. At the very least, just know what you're talking about if you're going to recommend something. Like, obviously, the best way to verify it is if you play the game yourself. Like, I'll give you a good example. Kasumi here was skeptical on SMT5. I, coming from SMT Nocturne, having a little bit of experience of SMT series a little bit, and I knew what to expect from 5, I basically told her that, yeah, I would recommend 5 because it's like, number one, without the series, there wouldn't be any Persona. Number two, this is basically kind of like if you're playing Persona, you kind of know how to play SMT, if that's a fact. And that's how I sold her to getting SMT5. I didn't just say, well, it's better than Persona 5, or that's stupid. You don't say that. I just basically said, you like Persona 5, you like Persona series, you're going to like SMT because they have very, very similar things going for it. And that's all I said. That's how you recommend a game to somebody. You don't just say, well, this version of game is cheaper than that version. Clearly, this version's better because it's accessible for new players. I mean, let's get into why Royal's more accessible to new players. Do you want to get
Um,
into? Oh, good.
yeah, by the way, that whole accessibility, the only way you can get vanilla is through the PS4 or the PS3. Royal is on every system, modern system, I should say.
That include
Accessibility
that
is
includes
thrown out the
PC.
window.
Like accessibility. Let's take the definition of accessibility. I hate to be like an English teacher, but here we go. What does that mean? What does that really mean? Uh, Definition. Accessibility. The quality of being able to reach or entered. That's like literal. The quality of being able to easy to attain or use. That's the important definition right here. Quality of being easy to obtain or use. Quality of being easy to obtain or use. That's what Royal is. That already dispels that argument about vanilla being accessible. I mean, if you want to say that maybe vanilla might be subjectively easier than Royal, I guess I can see that, but actually not really, because if you played even a little bit of Royal, you would actually figure out that there are things that Royal improves on the original that the original absolutely was kind of a chore on. Do you want to get into that yourself on that perspective,
And
Bella?
can I just say, Vanilla Persona 5 Vanilla felt like a chore, not a game. It felt like you needed to do some certain things
It basically sort of feels like a checklist.
and
Like,
to hit
okay,
certain points, and it was
like if you played this for the first time, you're going to be bewildered about what you discovered. But let's not forget, and this is just because we're talking about PlayStation and original Persona 5, it was, is, no, it's not even was, it is exclusive to PlayStation. I cannot get all the achievements. I know that's like subjective and stuff, but it's like in Royal, not counting like the Thebes Den stuff because that's separate. That's its own thing. I got like almost 95% of the achievements on my first playthrough alone. And I didn't realize I was doing half the time, and I just got most of those. In a single playthrough, if you were really smart about going about it using a guide, you can get all your achievements in a single playthrough. No cap. Absolutely no cap on that. In vanilla,
Royal.
in vanilla, there are some really weird caveats that you have to check mark to get those achievements, and some of which I'm not going to even bother going over it because I don't remember at the top of my head, but I remember one of those being the harem route, right?
It was maxing out all of your confidence in one walkthrough.
Yeah, that too.
You don't
That's
get. There's no harem route
in Royal. If you look at the
trophy. If
trophies
I remember correctly.
yeah, if you look at the trophies in comparison to Royal, that's no longer a thing. You don't need to do that. The only reason you may want to do that is because, well, you want to be a pimp and a player. That's it.
Well, there is another one that people are having a hard time with Persona 5 Vanilla. It's gain all of Fataba's voice lines in as Navigator
Yeah,
lines.
and I think that goes in line with like the
I would
sort
just
of
say Royal is probably the better one to. What?
oh, good.
Royal would be probably the better game to get. Yeah, it is expensive. Don't don't get me wrong. If I didn't promise millions of people that I would play Royal, I would have probably tossed and turned until December to get it.
Yeah, like What's the point? The
Um,
point is Royal is the definitive version of Persona 5, just like Persona 4 Golden is the definitive version of Persona 4. And you can probably argue that FES and Portable are definitive versions of Persona 3, which not really because
I
they're more like extra shit to both of these, and then you get to play like a female route. That's not really definitive, but that depends on your definition of that. But definitive meaning like more complete versions of these games. That's the whole point. That's why people want to play that version of the game. That's why that
I've
version of the game got considered over the version that's like very bare bones, to put it plainly.
I've I remember asking people after beating Vanilla, what Persona game should I get next? Someone said get Golden and Fez because they are the better versions of themselves. And
Well,
I feel like Royal's going to be one of those that is recommended more
as
over its vanilla
someone
class.
that's played Fez and the original Persona 4 and now I'm playing through Golden slowly, I can say that Fez is a pretty good version of Persona 3, but I wouldn't necessarily say it could be better. The only thing that makes it probably subjectively better is the fact that you get an epilogue story that you play as Aegis, and then she gets her wildcard powers. I mean, it's a old game. That spoilers doesn't matter for that, but it's like that doesn't necessarily make it better. It's just more content. And then for portable, you basically get to play a female or male, and then it's like a split timeline in that version of the game. That's it, which is cool for people that always want to play a girl. I'm all for that. In fact, you notice my outros always has I currently have FemMC as my outro because I like her a lot. So again, I don't want to put this person on blast, so I guess I kind of did with but it's meant to basically say that it doesn't matter what version of Persona that you like, but the whole point of this is just to dispel that if you want more bang for your buck, if you want a more complete version of a game that, by and large, is a few years old and that's more improved, get Royal. 110% can't recommend Royal enough. However, if you're on a budget, if you don't have the best, if you really for some reason can't afford Royal, if you really for some reason want just to play Persona 5 for the heck of it and want to really like, I would say even get a little bit of a challenge, then play the original Persona 5. No one's stopping you. Heck, I at the time before Golden got its ports, I couldn't afford a PS Vita. I had to borrow it from a friend, and the only version of Persona 4 was the original that was on the PlayStation Store. So to save money, I had to get that version of Persona 4. So in the end of the day, it doesn't matter what version that you get. You get one version that introduces new characters. You get another version that is the original version of a sequel,
which is
which is yeah, go ahead,
which is
which is fine.
harder than balls. I'm saying that right now. Vanilla of any game of the personas is harder than balls.
Yeah,
Take Persona 4, for
if you
example.
want a challenge, get the original versions of Persona 5. If you want something that's improved in quality, get Royal. Quality over struggles. Struggles over quality. Which ones do you want? Buy that version that you want. That's all we're saying. Yeah. Do you have
I
any?
also want people, if you're going to argue, if you're going to argue your point, please answer any questions that the other person will respond with.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be doing this if you
I mean,
would have asked the questions.
just saying that it's cheaper. It's not really a sound argument. I'm sorry to say it's not. Just again, not to insult you or anything. I just want to be 100% clear that it's not entirely correct either. But anyways, that's all we have to say. We're about 20 minutes in. Wow, this is a 20-minute video. Gone Dirty Demons. I have to thank you too, because you bring me a good topic to bring on my channel. So I hope this generates enough discussions, and I look forward to making more Persona-related content. Looking for more streams. You want to say goodbye to the audience, my lovely Kohai?
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
take care, and be nice in the comments, all right? I don't want this to be formal argument. This is just a healthy discussion. Anyways, take care and goodbye.
Been a little while, but I'm still battling. Moving fast while you just prattling. No time for me, no tangling. Hit you in the spot with no angling.